So the April 2022 question number 1. Now, but here we are being asked to describe 4 ways of encouraging managers to achieve stakeholders' objectives. Now, this is about the stakeholders theory, and it is actually testing on the ways of resolving the conflicts between the managers and the shareholders. Well, how can we encourage the managers to achieve the stakeholders' objectives? Number one. So the ways of encouraging managers to achieve stakeholders' objectives, we can encourage them, number one, by payment of management fees. Payment of management fees. So by paying the management fees, we're encouraging the managers to achieve the stakeholders' objectives. When they are hungry, they'll not work, and they leave be tempted to steal from the company, right? Number two, performance-based rewards. Performance-based rewards to management, e.g. bonus. Performance-based rewards to management, e.g. bonus. We can even talk about share-based compensation. Share-based compensation stroke rewards. So give them shares so that they become part of the shareholders of the company. You're encouraging them to ensure that they safeguard the interest of the company. And we can even talk about encouraging them to practice and even encourage them to practice corporate social responsibilities. All the theories you can think about, what can motivate them, and what can ensure that there are no problems between different stakeholders. We can even talk about promoting competent-based employment. Competent-based employment practices. We can even hire of external auditors. Hire the auditors so that they can be able to check if the managers are performing well. And so you do any 4 and you get your 4 marks. Number B. Now, step 5 arguments against Modigliani and Miller's view that dividend policy is irrelevant as means of affecting shareholders' wealth. This is about the dividend policies or the dividend theory. So you can just say this. MM argued that number B, MM is Modigliani and Miller. MM argues that payment of dividends does not affect the shareholders' wealth. Payment of dividends does not affect the shareholders' wealth under the following assumptions. Number one. Number one, that taxes do not exist. That taxes do not exist. Number two, that the farm is always profitable. The farm is always profitable. Throughout. That the farm is always profitable throughout. Number three. Cost of equity is known with certainty. Cost of equity is known with certainty and in advance. Cost of equity is known with certainty and in advance. So hiyo KE inajulikana. Another assumption. Zile tu za kama tu zile za ni the Gordon's growth model, the assumptions we are talking about. Payout ratio is known with certainty and in advance. Payout ratio is known with certainty and in advance. Of course, another one, retention ratio. Retention ratio is known with certainty and in advance. Retention ratio is known with certainty and in advance. Another one, capital markets. Capital markets are efficient. Capital markets are efficient such that all relevant information is readily available. All relevant information is readily available. Then you can have a bonus. Give an extra one. Capital markets are perfect. Capital markets are perfect. Capital markets are perfect. Such that no transaction costs exist. No transaction costs exist. So that gives us the 5 marks. So you have 5 plus 4. Na maisha inasonga mbele. So ukishapata 9 tunatafuta 41. Niko mbele. Basi. This shall we had a past paper. But we can read together in the meantime. Explain 3 forms of market information efficiency as stipulated by Eugene Farmer's efficient market hypothesis. The forms of EMH. So you have the 3 forms of EMH. The first one is which one? So forms of EMH, you have number 1, weak form efficiency. Weak form efficiency. Then you can just highlight something very briefly. You say it states that security prices reflect information about the past price movements. Information about the past price movements. So the prices, the decisions that you are making as far as investment is concerned are based on information about the past. Such decisions will not be are not expected to generate any supernormal profit. It's a weak form efficiency. The second one, we had what? Semi-strong form efficiency. Semi-strong form efficiency. So for semi-strong form efficiency, we say security prices reflect the market information about the past, and the present price movements, Then I reflect what happened in the past and what is currently happening. So when you're looking at the prices reflecting the past and the present, then the decisions we make on whether to buy or sell the shares are expected to have a chance of generating some good profits, because at least we know how the market was operating in the past and we know how the market is operating today. To make a decision under such circumstances, we have a chance of getting some good profits. Finally, number 3, equiganism. Strong form. Strong form efficiency. Then you say market information about the past, present, and future price movements. About the past, present, and future price movements is reflected in security prices. So the prices reflect the past, the present, and the future. Then such decisions on whether to buy or sell the shares will always give us a good result, because we know how the market was yesterday, we know how the market is behaving today, and we know where the market is heading in future. So the decisions we make will always be very much fruitful as far as investment is concerned. Good. That gives us another 6 marks. So let us get all the 20 marks of question 1. So we got part B. Now, part B, we are told that you are on attachment. So what do I have? I'll share it with you. So we can go through it together. You are on attachment in an investment firm, and the following information regarding investments has been provided to you by a company whose earnings per share in the current financial year was 8 shillings. Earnings per share in the current financial year. So that is the earnings per share for the current year. From the earnings per share of the current year, we shall get the dividends for the current year. Dividends for the current year, DDO, Amadiwan? DDO, thank you. The company adopts a 60% payout ratio as its dividend policy. So payout ratio is 60%, meaning retention ratio is what? 40%. The company is considering two investment options as follows. Option 1, the firm has an investment opportunity which, if undertaken, the growth rate in dividends will be 10% per annum for the next 3 years. The growth rate will fall to 8% per annum for the next 2 years after the first 3 years, and then stabilize at 6% per annum thereafter. Option 2, the firm can continue the current investment and the growth in dividends will continue at the rate of 10% per annum in perpetuity for 5 months. Assuming the required rate of return is 18%, advise the company on the option to take. So this is about valuation. They want you to calculate the value of the ordinary shares under option 1 and option 2. Then in advice, you always go in for the option that gives you the highest value. The first one is the supernormal growth firm. First of all, our DO payout ratio is I think 60% of 8 shillings. What is 60% of 8 shillings? Computer. Give me a computer to see. 6 times 8 is 48. So this looks like 4.8. 4.8. So, transit on option 1. Option 1. We have the year. We need the D1. D1 equals what? D4 into 1 plus G. Right? Then after that, we need to get the DVIF so that we can get the present value. Cost of capital, wametuambia ni 18%. So option 1 would be told that the firm has an investment opportunity which, if undertaken, the growth rate in dividends will be 10% per annum for the next 3 years. So you have year 1, year 2, year 3. Growth rate is 10%. As we start the first, what is our DO? 4.8. Growing at the rate of 10%. Someone will move calculator. What is 4.8 times 1.1? 5.28. As we start the year 2, we have 5.28. Still growing at what? So still growing at 10%, so times 1.1, that's 9 times 1.1. Now, what happens is, we have a situation where the dividends are growing at different rates. So this is the valuation of ordinary shares in a supernormal growth firm. Miaka tatu za kwanza ina grow na 10%. Baada ya 10%, it grow at 8% for another 2 years. Then after that, it stabilizes at 6% indefinitely. So the first 3 years, year 1, year 2, year 3, the growth rate is 10%. As we start the first year, you have the DO. We need to get our D1. In the first year, the dividends will increase by 10%. We have our expected dividends, right? The dividends at the end of year 1 will be the dividends at the beginning of year 2, just like our DO. Still growing at the rate of what? 10%. We get the D1 of year 2, which will be the DO of year 3. Will it be 0 point?
That's 18%.
Oh,
Instead of 4.8,
you did hear 18. Hapo ni nyorosha zaidi. Sawa, vizuri tunaona vile tulikosea, sio? Asante sana. Ulifanya hivyo. Kwenye limaka alikuwa na shida. Hiyo theory ulipata. Haya, sawa. Sawa. Tuendelee tuone ni wapi ulinyoroshwa. Kama walikuonea tuone kama tuta apply kwa limaki. Shall move on. Very good. So this is how much? So the answer will now just multiply it by 1.1. 5.804. We can do 81. So here is how we have 5.81, still growing up to the rate of what? 10%. So times 1.1. $6.39. So those are the first 3 years. Then year 4 and year 5, the next 3 years, wamesema ita grow at 8%. 8%. So therefore, we have 6.39 now growing at 8%, 1.08. So 6.39 times 1.08. 6.90. 901, that is 90, right? Then we have 6.90 still growing at 1.08. So times 1.08. That is 7.45. 7.45. Right? Then wakatuambia nini? After the 5 years, it will now stabilize and start growing at what rate? 6% and per annum thereafter. Yeah. So the stability achieved. This is year 5. So we have another year 5 where we now need to get the PO. PO into 1 plus G over KE minus what? KE minus G. Our DO is 7.45. Now growing at the rate of what? 6%. Divided by the cost of equity is 0.18 minus 0.06. Wacha tufanye kwa calculator tuone. So 7.45 times 1.06 divided by, can open the brackets, 0.18 minus 0.06. That is 65.81. 65.81. Lump sum of annuity. Kala ingine iko hapo. Lump sum of annuity. Or one of the above. Gandhi. Hii na hii the same. Tunacheck table 1 ama table 2. Table 1 ndio lump sum ama annuity. So it's lump sum. Which is table 1. So let's check in the table. Let's check in the table. 18%. Sasa ile challenge ilikuwa kwa setting tena 18% haiko kwa table. Lakini formula iko kwa table. So it is 1 divided by 1.18. 1 divided by 1.18. 0.8475. Then you divide by 1.18. 0.7182. Formula iko katego. Na formula imesema 1/1 plus r raised to n or 1 plus r raised to negative n. So I'm using this one. The first one is 1/1.18. I don't need to raise to power 1. So that one will give me 0.8475. The Theo answer niko nayo, when I divide by the denominator, I'll be raising this to power 2. So you continue dividing by the denominator. So like now here 3, here 2 is 0.7182. Here 3 I divide by 1.18 and get 0.6086. But for calculator, unafanya 2 equals because it's already answer divided by. Let's see when we have the calculators. So 0.5158. Then finally 0.4371. And this one is also 0.4371. So we get the intrinsic value. So multiply as we add. The intrinsic 0.11. So what about option B? What about option B? Now option B nasema nini? Option B nasema that option 2, the firm can continue the current investments and the growth in dividends will continue at the rate of 10% per annum in perpetuity. Now this one now becomes normal growth firm, right? Normal growth firm, how do we get the DO? DO into 1 plus G over KG minus G, right? We have the DO, 4 points, growing at the rate of 10%. Can I say 1.10? Cost of equity 0.18 minus 0.1. So is the people. So this one you can do together 4.8 times 1.1 divided by, open the brackets, 0.18 minus 0.1. That is 66. So which option should they take? The first or the second one? The second one. So advice option 2 should be taken. Option 2 should be taken. So that gives us the 20 marks of that part of that question. What I see. Number option 2. OML. You only pick here. Twende question 2 tuone. Let's go to question 2, we see what it's all about. So question 2 for 4 marks. James Chege intends to accumulate 10 million in his bank account 15 years from now. So the amount that we expect, the future value, is how much? 10 million, right? And we're expecting it after how long? After 15 years. Then we are given 4 marks in asking the amount he should deposit now, assuming that the bank is offering 5% interest rate per annum. So our rate is 5% per annum. Compounded semi-annually. Semi-annually, very important. Na hiyo lazima ilinyorosha watu. Semi-annually ilimaanisha kuwa rate itakuwa ngapi sasa? 2.5%. Na N itakuwa 30 periods. Right? Kuna mwenye hapo ana semi-annually? Watu wache maswali. Iliona mahali semi-annually. Canvas mapema. So you have the semi-annual. So therefore, they're asking about the present value. And the 10 million, by the way, is not expected annually. It's expected only once after 5 years. It's expected only once after 5 years. The 10 million inatarajiwa tu mara moja. Baada ya miaka 15, not 5, after 15 years. So being asked, how much should we invest today? Not investing annually. So it's a lump sum, in short. Because we're investing only once today. We are investing today. So the amount to invest today, you have to do so that it stays in that account for 15 years, attracting interest of 5% after semi-annually, right? So I know what I expect in future. I'm looking for its equivalent today. That's how. So I know that to get the present value, I'll take the future value times present value interest factor 2.5%, 30 days. Because it's a lump sum. I'm expecting it only once. I'm expecting it only once, right? So therefore, we have the future value 10 million, 2.5%, 30 periods. And I say 1 over 1.025 raised to power 30. Then 1 over 1 plus r raised to power n. So what do we have? Take up a calculator. divide by 1.025 raised power 30. So this is 10 million times 0.4767. That is 47, 67, and 2000 because of the rounding off. And you get your 4 months. That's okay, right? And then the next one, part B. So question 2, part B. We are told that the following information relates to Triplex Limited. The company has annual sales revenue of 6 million and all sales are on 30-day credit. Although customers on average take 10 days more than the recommended 30 days to pay. So can we say that the receivables period is 40 days? Credit terms is 30 days, although customers take 10 days more. Yeah. So meaning currently the receivables period is 30 days plus 10, which is 40 days. It's a statement that could easily confuse a student mwenye hataki kusikia kusoma English vizuri. Ama mwenye pressure ya exam, umefanya English make sense. So the company has annual sales revenue of 6 million and all sales are on 30 days credit. Those are the credit terms. Although the customers on average take 10 more days than the recommended 30 days to pay. So customers take 40 days to pay, right? To the left one, contribution represents 60% of sales and the company currently has no bad debts. Account receivables are financed by an overdraft at an annual interest rate of 7%. So meaning cost of capital is 7%. Triplex plans to offer an early settlement discount of 1.5% for payment within 15 days and to extend the maximum credit offered to 60 days. So they want the receivables period to be 60 days. But those who pay within 15 days will get a discount of 1.5. The company expects that these changes will increase annual credit sales by 5%, while also leading to the additional incremental costs equal to 0.5% of sales revenue. Discount is expected to be taken by 30% of customers, while the remaining customers should take the average 60 days to pay. For 8 months, evaluate whether the proposed changes in credit policy will increase the profitability of Triplex Limited. Remember the statement? So statement of additional annual financial benefits or costs. Statement of additional annual financial benefits or costs. Costs are in brackets. So we're looking at the two policies. We are comparing current policy with the proposed policy. And we see if there is any additional benefit or cost. We can have the figures in thousands, no problem. Then the normal income statement, tuanze na sales. Tuanze na sales. Currently, sales zetu ni ngapi? 6,000. Zitaongezeka na ngapi? Note number 4, sales will increase by 5%. All sales are on credit unless otherwise stated. So the annual credit sales will increase by 5%. So 6,000 times 1.05. It's 6,300. So that sales ziongezeke na ngapi? Na 300. And when sales increase, we are happy, right? So that's a benefit. We have contribution. Contribution is 60%, not number 2. So you have the contribution, which is 60%. 60% of 6,000, 3,600. And we have 60% of 6,300, which is 37,800. 37,800. So that contribution kiongezeke na ngapi? It's 180 to 60% of 300. 180. Forward ever, backwards never. Don't subtract. Subtract upon a variable costs. Don't go backwards. Because it's always sales minus variable costs. We get contribution, unaendelea mbele. You already have the contribution, don't go back to variable costs. Continue lessing other costs. You continue lessing other costs. Let's see what is happening there. So note number 2, accounts receivables are financed, that one will take care of it later. Number 3, Triplex plans to offer an early settlement discount. Can you have cash discount? Cash discount? Currently, there is no discount. But we're planning to offer a discount of what percent? 1.5%. And what percentage of customers will enjoy the discount? Note number 5. 30% of the customers. How much are the customers to enjoy the discount? The discount is coming under the proposed policy. Right? So not all customers will enjoy the discount, only 30% will enjoy the discount. So having the 6,300 times 0.3 times 0.015. That is 28.35. And that is the cost in Abuja. Right? What else is there? Note number 4, statement Caribbean Wisha. So sales will increase by 5%, while also leading to additional incremental costs of 0.5% of sales revenue. So we have additional costs. .5% of what? Of 6,300. Currently, as it goes. Just following instructions. So 0.5 over 100 times 6,300. That is that 1.5. ambayo inakuja hapa. Tumeweza 8 months. We don't have the tax, but at that point, I can have pre-tax cash flows. So 180 minus 28.35 minus 31.5. $120.15. Yeah. Kama tungekuwa na tax, tungeless tax. But we don't have the tax. Taxes do not exist. We don't get taxes. So there is no tax there. So I simply come and add. Hata kama utaamua uless tax, your tax utaless with dash. Alafu sasa ulete nini? You remember opportunity cost? Opportunity cost. We need to get our receivables, which equals to annual credit sales over 365 or 360. The examiner was silent, so 365 times the receivables period. Let's comment. Hizi ni zile za mwisho. Ile kama usha switch off ama understanding mode iko sawa. Ulifanya kama swali la pili. Wakafanya tu hivi. Sawa. So can you start with the current policy? Current policy sales zetu ni ngapi? 6,000 divided by 365. Customers take how many days to pay? 40. 30 plus 10 is clear. So 6,000 divided by 365 times 40. $657.5. So 657.53. Your current policy. Then we have proposed policy. Now, proposed policy, because of the discount, tutakuwa na 2 types of debtors. So you have the first type of debtors that will take the discount with discount. What percentage of customers enjoy the discount? 30%. So you're having 30% of 6,300. Enjoy the discount by paying within how many days? 15 days. Alafu now wengine with no discount, kama 30% will enjoy the discount, meaning to be 70%, right? So the remaining 70% of our customers did not enjoy the discount and pay within how many days? Is it 60? And pay within 60 days. So this is 77.67. This other one is 724.93. Let me value. Confirm. So we add the two 77.67, get 802.60. 802.60. So we have the decrease, data's increased. Data's increased. So we have increase in opportunity cost. The cost of capital to BRBWA. Note number 2, overdraft 7%. So having 7%, what is the change? Minus 657, 657.53. So 145.07. Sawa. Inamaliza na program rate ya katano uangalie. Naona conversation imepunguka 10.15, 10.16. That's the cost. So we have the net benefit. One oh nine point nine nine, roughly 110. So evaluate whether the proposed changes in credit policy will increase the profitability. It has increased the profitability. Yeah. So tuiangalie dakika 5, then we can do the other question, the last part of that question. Question 2C. Truly limited intends to invest in one of two machines A or B. The following data is available. We're going to machine A, the cash inflows in thousands of shillings, machine B in thousands of shillings. Both machines have a useful life for 5 years. Depreciation is on straight line basis. Operation tax is 30%. Using payback period as the criteria for project selection, advise the management on which machine to invest in. So if we start with machine A, first of all, we need to get our cash flows. Tumepewa tax rate, tumeambiwa depreciation, so you cannot assume that those cash flows are the net cash flows. Those are simply the cash inflows, less the tax, then add the DTS. We have the year. We have the year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5. So we have the cash flows. Cash inflows, which is like our earnings before depreciation and tax. Suppose we have tax rate and we have depreciation. We cannot assume that those are the net cash flows. Just the net cash flows. So the figures are in thousands of shillings. The figures are in thousands of shillings. The figures are in thousands of shillings, So the earnings before depreciation and tax, 8,400. Then we have 9,600, 14,000, 16,000, and 4,000. With less tax. Tax rate is 30%. So having 30% of 8,400. That is 2520. 2520. 30% of 9,600. 2880. 30% of 14,000. That is 4,200. Have 30% of 16,000. 4,800. And this looks like 1,200. 4 times 3 is 12. Right? Tuongeze nini? Tuongeze the DTS. Cost minus the salvage value over the useful life. Cost I say 30,000. Salvage value is 0. Kwa miaka 5, then times 30%. So 30,000 divided by 5 times 0.3, that is 1,800. 1,800 kila mwaka. So you have the net cash flows there. So we add the first one. $76.80. Good. $8,520. 14,000 minus 4,200 plus 1,800. 11,600. 16,000. 4,800. 13K. Then you're having 4,000. Payback period yake inakuwa rahisi. Na tukichukua back store before kwenye payback period ya hiyo, kuja kwa machine bit upate cash flows zake kwanza. So that we use the same years. So we have the earnings before depreciation and tax. For machine B, year 1 is 8,400. Year 2 is 9,000. Year 3 is 8,000. Year 4 is 10. And year 5 is 20. We less tax. Then we add the DTS. Because the initial outlay ya bidhaa ni 30K, salvage value ni 0 miaka ni 5, DTS yake itabaki the same. 1,800, 1,800, 1,800, 1,800 and 1,800. So simply less tax and we get our net cash flows. So 8400 times 30% is 2520. So that hapa tuko na 76 8. Hiyo yake inafanana ya ingawana. Ya 30% of 9000, 3 times 9 is 27, 2700. So plus 1800. It's 103. Sorry. It's 100. 8000 times 30%, 8 times 3 is 24. So 2400. So this one is 7400. 30% of 10,000 is 3,000. So hapa tunabaki na 7 plus this 8,800. And 30% of 20 looks like 6,000. That's 6. So 6,000. 14 plus that. $5,800. So coming to the payback period. Payback period. Now for the payback period, can do it here. Payback period. We start with machine A. Our intention is to recover the initial outlay, amount of 30,000, right? So as we start our year one, so we have the year, we have the cash flows, and we have cumulative cash flows. As we start our year one, we are able to get 76.80. Cumulatively, we got 76.80. The payback period, right? Tunaenda mwaka wa pili. Mwaka wa pili tunapata ngapi? 85.20. Cumulatively tutakuwa ngapi? That's 16,200. 16,200. My target is 30. I still need something to do 13,800. In year 3, I'm able to get 11, right? So in year 3, let's pay 11K, 11,600. So if I add 11,600, I get 27,800, right? Yeah. Then I go to year 4. In year 4, I have 13,000, but I only need how much? 22. The balance. 2,200. Bonifica ngapi? Right? So that now I tell him that payback period will be 3 years plus 2,200 out of how much? Daniel? My target is 30. My target is to get the 30,000, which is the initial outlay. So if we get year 3, we got 27,800. So whatever I have in year 4 is more than what I need. So if we get 27,800, I only need the balance, which is now the 2,200 to make me reach 30K. And I ask myself, what is this 2,200 as a fraction of the total amount of that year? Really important. So divide by 13,000. That is 0. So therefore, we are having 0.17. 3.17. Yes. So the payback period for project B, the same scenario. To corner the year, we have the cash flows, and we have the cumulative cash flows. In year 1, we'll get 7680. Cumulatively, 7680. Our target, even for project B, is to recover the initial outlay, which is also 30,000 as per the question. 30K. In the first year, we get the 6780. In the second year, we are able to get how much? 8100, right? From the cash flows, we get the 8100 in the second year. So we need to know cumulatively, tutakuwa tumepata ngapi? 7680 plus 8100. 15780. My target is 30. I still need some 14 something, 14K. In year 3, I get 7,400. So cumulatively, we got 23,180. I go to year 4. 23,180 and I have 88, meaning I have more than what I need. Right? So if I take the 23,180, I subtract the 30K, I need 6820. So in year 4, I only need 6820 for me to reach 30K. Then I tell him that therefore the payback period equals to 3 years plus what is the fraction? 6820 as a fraction of the total amount of year 4. Kwa mwaka mzima niko na hii. How long do I need to get the 68? So 6820 divided by 8800. That is 0.775. So therefore my payback period becomes 3 plus 0.775. That is 3.775. Okay. And do to decimal places, no problem. 3 point, no, don't round off the 4 years. Because it's difficult 4 years. Just 3 years and some months. So which one is the best between project A and project B? Project A. So advice ilikuwa ni walikuwa wameuliza ni advice on which project to undertake. So the company should invest in machine A. So advice, invest in machine A. So those are the question 1 and question 2. This to 40%. 40%. So you can consider that as our introduction today. Yes. At least in a macho. Then we can do it again next week. Yeah. We've climatized ourselves with the new normal. So we continue from there next week, God willing. Yeah. Hey.